Today, there will be two parts, components to today's session, as you know, for the people that have been attending so far. The first part is a 20-minute experiential process where our retreat leader here, Sherry, will be bringing us through. I'm actually so excited about your process and excited to go through it as well. A 20-minute process. And from there, we get to spend some time to ask her some questions about wealth and what wealth means to her and how she has cultivated wealth in her life and the tools and tricks and tips she has gained along the way. So joining us on day 3, where we will be diving into the theme of trust, is Sherry. Welcome, Sherry.
Hi, but thank you so much for having me, Jess. I am so thrilled and honored to be a part of your wealth retreat. What an awesome idea. This is, especially during these times, beautiful. I'm really, really happy to be part of it.
Thank you so much for taking the time to connect with us and everyone here. We're just so thrilled. So Sherry's an international teacher. She's a speaker. She's a healer. She's a coach. Why we love her so much is because she's passionate about really helping women really heal their hearts and increase their confidence and increase their vitality. And so she teaches women how to really trust and how really to balance the feminine and the masculine parts of themselves to really create this emotional freedom. And so that's just a little bit about her. I'm sure she'll explain about her and her topic, which is all about harnessing your diamond power. And before you actually go into your experiential process, Sherry, I would love for you to explain a little bit more about the backstory of what viewers can expect, but also to let us know what really is the diamond process and how you have cultivated and created that.
No, my pleasure. And first of all, hello, everybody out there. This is such, as I said, just an honor to be able to share with you today. So the backstory on this is that years ago, when I started as a coach, I had always had a dream to do something that would be impactful and to help and to heal in the world. And so I was given this vision of a diamond in one of my meditations, and this diamond was buried deep within each of us. And the way it was shown to me is that it was covered with, so that you couldn't see it. It was basically buried. And that it is so symbolic that we all have a diamond within us. You have a diamond within you, all of you. And it is a spark of God. It is your uniqueness. It is your gifts, your talents. And when I started looking at the symbolism of a diamond, I discovered that it is God's stone. And if you think about it, it's so much like women and like people in general, but particularly women, because that tends to be who I work with. Strong, resilient, multifaceted, brilliant, dazzling, valuable. And just as a diamond is formed through high pressure, that it gets to its beauty, the same thing. As we go through trials and tribulations in life, we become more valuable. And I believe, for me, that is a mission for every woman to know just how valuable she is, and men too. I know there are men watching out there too, but everybody, you all have this diamond at the core of your being. But what happens is over time, it gets covered with disappointments and curveballs and things not working out the way you would have liked them to. And it starts to get buried, and you lose your connection to what I call your diamond power. And that diamond power is your connection. For me, it's God. For you, it might be the universe, source, the infinite, whatever that looks like for you. But it is that power that is greater than us, that is breathing us, that doesn't understand the word obstacle. It doesn't understand the word challenge, because everything is possible in that God field, in that love field, and all that is. And so this process that I would like to take you through, because wealth, it's much more than financial, right? It's much more than financial. It's wealth in whatever area of your life that you're looking for expansion in. It could be finances, and it could be romance, and it could be health. Whatever it is for you, You're here because you want to see more expansion. You know, you're at this retreat because you want to understand how to increase that in your life. And what I've learned and what I know is that the way to do that is to free ourselves, to really free ourselves. Because the only way that we can have a good relationship with that diamond power, with that love consciousness, is to have a freedom that starts first with our relationship with ourselves. And when we're holding on to those past disappointments, when we're holding on to pain, when we're holding on to resentment, which all of us go through in our life. I don't think there's nobody that skates through life. I don't care how enlightened you are. You experience something that causes hurt and pain. And when we do not let that go, it builds up energetic blocks in our heart, and it closes our heart down, and it causes constriction. And oftentimes we're not even aware of it because it's been there for so long, and we think we're open, but until we heal all these things that are layered upon our heart and the energy that's really blocking, we're not in a space to be open to receive all the good that is there for you. So today I'm going to take you through a process around forgiveness, because what I know for sure is that that's the quickest way to unblock yourself. And when you think about forgiveness, a lot of people think, oh my gosh, no, you know, this happened to me and you have no idea. I can never forgive that. That was horrible. It was awful. But what forgiveness is truly about, and what my definition of it is that we shift our perspective to one of peace around the situation or the person, so that we move out of constriction and we move into a place of openness and peace. And so that's where we'll take you today. And it's a 6-step process. And once you move through that, then you will have more freedom to be able to draw into you. You'll be able to connect to that love consciousness, and you'll be able to have more of the wealth that you want, no matter where you want that in your life. So it's a matter of connecting to that diamond power and understanding that forgiveness doesn't mean that you're letting somebody off the hook, doesn't mean that you're condoning what they did. No, the truth is that when you're unforgiving, you are emotionally bonded to that situation or that person in a way that has you so restricted that it's doing you damage. So forgiveness is actually an act of self-love. It's an act of self-love, and it's for you. It's not for the other person. It's for you, because all of that ugly energy that gets mustered up when we're in resentment is affecting your body and your health and your well-being. So we want to clear that, and that's what we're going to do right now. So.
Yay. And so I'll go off video so that everyone could see you for the recording on the big screen. And I will let you move into that process, which I think everyone here is really excited to dive deep into.
Okay, great. Perfect. All right. So first of all, get really comfortable and take in a couple of deep breaths. Just slow breaths, bringing that breath up to the top. And holding it and letting it go. And then bringing it up to the top. Holding it and then letting it go. And the first step is to bring to mind, who could use your forgiveness? Just asking that question, who could use my forgiveness? And make a note. Maybe it's one person, maybe it's a couple people, but write it down. And maybe it's yourself. Maybe it's yourself. Oftentimes we get upset with ourselves, and you're the person that you need to forgive. But write it down. The second step in this process is to ask yourself, which one, if you've written down more than one person, I want you to look at that list, and I want you to see which person pops off the page at you, like what's sparkling at you that wants your attention, and choose that Choose that to work with today during this process. Okay, so you've got that person. The second question you're going to ask yourself is, what is it costing me to be holding this resentment or this anger or this, lingering attachment to the past? What's it costing me? Is it costing you your happiness? Is it costing you a closer relationship if you're in a partnership and maybe there's been some betrayal, maybe there's been some hurt and you're holding on to it, but your end goal is that you would love to be closer, you'd love more intimacy, but that's blocking it. So is it costing you more connection? Is it costing you a possible expansion in your job, your career? What is it costing you? The third question is to ask yourself, what are you getting out of it? And what I mean by that is, because you might be saying, well, nothing, it's just, it's actually, I don't have a benefit from it. I'm just, it's just something that I can't let go of. The truth of the matter is that we do things for a reason, even if they're not beneficial to us. So you want to really start to understand what is the benefit that this is holding for you. And it may be, I had a client, I'm going to call her Jody, and she had a betrayal in her marriage, and she was extremely angry with her husband and could not let go of that anger. And when we did this process, but let me first say that anger was affecting every area of her life. It was affecting her parenting. It was affecting her work. It was affecting her ability to sleep. It was affecting her ability to show up in a way that she really wanted to show up. So what we discovered when we did this process together was that really she had been blaming her husband as a way of avoiding looking at if she had any responsibility in the situation. And because what was underneath all of this was an actual terror that there was something wrong with her, that perhaps she was flawed, and perhaps that's what caused the marriage to crumble. Well, when we did this process, she was able to heal that total lie, that misconception that there was anything wrong with her. And she was able to let go, once she cleared that, to let go of the anger. And because the anger was literally blocking her, it was her defense mechanism of being able to block her looking at something that she didn't want to confront because of the fear that it might be true. Once that was healed, the anger was able to be released. That doesn't mean that she condoned what her husband did. Not at all. But she was able to shift her perspective so that her emotion around it was not in a vice grip that was hurting her. So this is what you want to consider. What is your payoff with it? And then the next step is really, who would you be without this story? Who would you be without this story? Who would you be without this resentment? Who would you be without this anger or this depression or this sadness? And imagine yourself without it. Would you be happy? Would you be joyful? Would you be free? Would you be peaceful? And imagine what you could do if you were living from that foundation. So the next step that I'm gonna take you through is going to bring all of this into play. I want to take you through a guided visualization. So now that you have an awareness of who it is that you want to forgive, or a situation or yourself, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes and to start taking in deep breaths. Again, we're going to take 3 breaths where you're going to take it to the top, hold it, and then release with your mouth open, blowing as though you're blowing through a straw. Now take another breath in, hold it at the top, and let it out. And taking one more breath in, holding it at the top, and letting it out. Now bringing that person or that situation into your mind and begin to connect with all the feelings, all the negative feelings, the toxic feelings that come up for you around that. Allow yourself to be in the victim spot with this. You know, allow the anger, allow the hurt, allow the sadness, the depression, the frustration, the whatever's coming up for you around the situation, the resentment. If it's a betrayal, the betrayal, all the feelings that are attached to this, and allow them to come up. And now imagine a container that you're going to put all these emotions in. So picture a container. It might be rectangular, it might be spherical, it might be circular, it might be square, but imagine a container and put all the emotions into it. Every last one of them. Put them in that container. Okay, you've got them all in there. Now, identify where is that container in your body. Maybe it's in your head, maybe it's in your chest, maybe it's in your stomach, maybe it's in your back, maybe it's, notice how big a container it is. How much space is it taking up? And now notice the color of this container. Give it a color. Notice the color. And if you don't see a color, that's okay. Just being aware of this container and the space that it's taking up. And now notice if it's got, what kind of a texture, what kind of a surface texture does it have? Is it jagged? Is it rough? Is it smooth? Is it solid? Is it like a rock? What is the texture of it? Is it bumpy? Is it lumpy? Is it, like sludgy, grimy, slimy? What's the texture of it? Really give it a life. And notice, does it have a smell? Is there a smell to it? Okay. So now imagine that there is a loving energy that is flowing down like a waterfall, cascading down from the heavens, from the all that is. It's flowing down. And it is flowing right into that container. And it is pure love. Give it a color. Maybe it's white, maybe it's pink, maybe it's purple, maybe it's two colors, maybe it's multicolored. But imagine this beautiful divine light that is love, that is the all that is. Imagine it is flowing down, it's flowing around, it's wrapping around this container, it's flowing inside the container, it's above the container, it's below the container, it's wrapping around it, it's within it. And that love is bringing divine light. See beautiful sparkling light, some golden light, some beautiful pink light, some white light, whatever comes into your mind. See that light flowing down, wrapping around it, bringing that divinity, bringing the all that is, bringing the love. And as that love flows through it, feel that container, feel all the energies that are in that container, feel them losing power, feel them shrinking, getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Again, pouring down that beautiful divine light, pouring down. Feel it flowing into this container, and it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and maybe it's breaking up into little bits and pieces, but it's losing its power, and love is replacing it. Feel that love, like a divine, loving, beautiful balm to your body. It's just like this soothing serenity flowing in, clearing out that container, really transmuting and transforming those energies that are blocking. Just see them getting smaller and smaller, shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking until they are nothing. Until they're nothing. And now put your attention to where that container was, and we want to fill that up now. We want to fill that empty space up with everything that you would love instead. So imagine, what would you love instead? Compassion, kindness, love, peace, freedom. Imagine these beautiful angelic hands are now pouring in to that space with love. Maybe there's little crystals that are flowing in there. Maybe they're plants or flowers that are being planted. And see them in that space, taking root, expanding, bringing light, tremendous light. Imagine that you are literally planting the traits that you would like to become around the situation. Compassionate, loving, kind. Really see that taking root. Maybe it's neutrality, maybe it's non-attachment, but you're planting that. See those roots take hold, and see those roots going all the way down your legs, planting into the earth. And then these beautiful angelic hands are sprinkling little tiny bits of diamonds around it. Beautiful diamonds that as they land within this space, that they are igniting and illuminating these new traits. And feel that expansion, feel the light. Feel it flowing, feel it expanding, feel that flowing, now expanding to every cell in your body, and see every cell in your body like a little diamond baguette being lit up. And this beautiful, beautiful divine light is flowing down like a waterfall. Feel that flowing. It's watering that area. Feel it. It's pouring in. It's going down through your head. It's going down through your throat, down through your chest, down through your arms, down into your heart center, into your belly and your legs. It is bringing nurturing love, nurturing serenity, nurturing peace and trust. Let it flow. Let it saturate what you've just planted. Feel it and touch a part of your body. Take your right hand and put it either to your forehead, see if there's energy there, or test your throat, see if there's energy there, or test your heart center and see if there's energy there, or your belly. But wherever you feel the most energy, you want to keep that hand. And if you feel it in two spots, then put both hands on those spots and go for it. We're grounding this in. We're really grounding in this light, this diamond essence, this beautiful love that's all that is creating this new perspective for you. And breathing that in and seeing yourself as this woman, this man with these traits, and how you're interacting with others, and how you're moving through your life, and how you're welcoming in all the wealth and what that means for you, whether that be finances, whether that be love, whether that be good health, whatever it is for you. Imagine yourself this beautiful, open receiver to it, and ask, receive, and allow this beautiful light, this beautiful love, this beautiful wealth, in whatever form that is for you, to pour down upon you. And see yourself in this bubble of trust, bubble of light, bubble of love, experiencing exactly where you would like wealth in your life right now. And feel the gratitude, feel the love, feel it pouring into your heart center. And now from this place, take that beautiful love, that beautiful energy, and send a blessing to whatever you released. And that blessing is, may you be well. May you be at peace. And may you be loved in your life. Taking a nice deep breath. Hands over heart, anchoring this whole experience. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was magical.
Okay. Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Good.
You know, we
I enjoyed
really
it.
I really went deep there.
Good. Anything you want to share, please?
Yeah, no, you could really feel, especially when you said feel the container, I could really feel that container and the texture and then you said slimy and I connected in with that. And so, and then with the wave of water was just so cleansing and purifying. And
Mhm.
how did you guys all feel? Would love to hear your responses in the chat. And so while you do that, we're just gonna cry. Oh, I know.
Oh,
It was, yeah.
beautiful. I hope that was incredibly cleansing for you, and just know that it's a process you can go back to. That's why initially I had you write down a list of the people that need forgiveness, and so you know continue with this process. And I say every day at the end of the day, ask that question, and then take yourself through the process, and you will attract so much abundance to yourself, so much wealth.
Okay, so there's a couple questions coming through, so we'll save those for the next part that we'll be moving into. We're gonna switch gears here a little bit
Okay.
and go into our fire round of questions where we're really gonna ask you questions in regards to wealth and what that means for you and how you've cultivated wealth in your life.
Okay.
And before I actually want to tap into forgiveness and wealth. And so why would you say is forgiveness a huge block to wealth?
Well, and that's a great question, and thank you for bringing clarification around it. Because when we are holding resentment, and when we're holding past pain and we don't let it go, it is an energetic block because all of our emotions have an energy to them. And so anger has an emotion, an energy to it. Shame has an energy to it. Humiliation has an energy to it. And all that creates a low vibrational energy. And so if I may just show this quick drawing here, when I talk about energy, energy has a frequency to it. So these are all frequencies. So this is you here. And this is what you want. This is your wealth. See that star up there? So that's whatever area of wealth you want. But if you're having feelings of resentment and anger and depression and sadness, those are very low vibratory energies and they keep you down here. And so in order to get to where you want to go, we have to raise our vibration. We have to raise our vibration and we have to clear the energy. Einstein said you can never solve a problem at the level of consciousness it was created. So we have to reach into that higher perspective and we have to connect with God's perspective, whatever that is for you, but it's a higher perspective that is greater than any circumstance you can be in. And you'll feel free. You'll feel free. And you need to have that freedom in order to really receive what it is you would desire.
Well, that's perfect that you're bringing that up because that was kind of my next question was how does someone liberate themselves from fear, from anger, from shame, from, these lower emotions to get to that state of wealth in all aspects of their life?
Yeah. So again, great question. So the key is a shift in your perspective. So we experience anger and fears. First of all, there's two emotions, right? Love and fear. So I'm going to just, encapsulate everything that's not love under fear. So when we're feeling fearful about something, that is, again, you want to shift out of that focus because whatever we put our attention on is going to grow. So we want to shift it to something more positive. And the way that you can shift it is by gaining a different perspective. And so forgiveness is key because that is always what forgiveness does is it brings a shift in your perspective. So did you notice that for yourself, Jess, when you were going through the process around your perspective on it.
I did. And I saw my own, beliefs in regards to how the situation was perceived. I brought up a certain situation. I saw how I perceived it. And then I was able to shift that. And when, especially and then after with the water flowing down, that was like a stream of love for me, not only for love for myself. And through that was love for that other person as well.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. So
Yeah.
you've got the compassion, and that's
Absolutely.
the key,
Yeah.
and that's really, especially during these times, the messaging that I keep getting, Jess, from Jesus, I have conversations with Jesus, and basically the messages that he is wanting me to share is that love, what you experienced, what you just shared, is the way. And it's not in a religious sense of love is the, Jesus is the way. My understanding of the way it's being presented is, as I said, there's either love or there's fear. So if we choose the way of fear and we stay attached and bonded to things that we're upset about, or guilt or shame or any of these things, whether we're beating ourselves up or we're beating somebody else up, that is keeping us in our smallest egoic state, right? And we call that ego for a reason. Egos, many of you may have heard this, edging God out. And so we want to choose love. We want to choose love. That's what Jesus was about. He really, it's not about religion. He was here because it was all about love and compassion and forgiveness. Because when we're in that state and we choose love, then we are cleansed. We can see the other person. We can see our own stuff, and we can see the other person, and then we can harmonize. And that's really so important right now, especially with everything that's going on in the world.
Oh, absolutely. And when you talk about going to those higher frequencies, that is the frequency of love. So in those moments, in those situations that you're involved in, that you could be attached to fear, anger, or shame, shifting that mindset into how do I bring love into this situation? Doesn't mean you don't have boundaries, but how can you bring in love and compassion into this situation? And that is something many teachers have shared, including Jesus, and which is hilarious that you bring that up, because I get a little, it's called the bowl of sake, and it's actually Sufi teaching, but today they were talking about Jesus and about forgiveness, and which is what our topic is right now. So I love that presence is embodying this conversation.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting chills. Oh, I'm getting chills right now, because the messages that he keeps having for me and with me is that now is the time. We must harmonize. We must make amends. We must get along. And I want to share another diagram, because a lot of you might be saying, "Oh, how can I? How can I?" So this is this I want to share with you, because it's a cross, but this shows you how to get to that diamond power. So if you look at this horizontal line, this is our physical life. And so if you imagine everything that happens, all the disappointments, all the things that you feel like maybe failed in your life, or things didn't go the way you wanted, that's, if you can imagine, like tumbling rocks and dust and everything. If any of you remember Charlie Brown and Pigpen, I'm really dating myself here, but you probably, Jess, you're too young to remember that. But he always had this dirt and rocks going around. And so this is very symbolic of our life, right? And how we experience life. On the other hand, the vertical is our connection to the all that is, the love, God, Jesus, all of that is there for us. And where they intersect is right in your heart center. So that's the other reason why forgiveness is so important, because if you're blocked, then you're not going to be able to receive the wisdom that wants to come through and help you. And this is where your true essence is. That's where your diamond power is. So simply breathing is also something that you can do every day that calms you and gets you into that, because love and fear cannot coexist. It's one or the other. So choose love. That's
just the takeaway.
Yeah.
So I have a couple other questions here.
Yeah.
So I would love to know how you define wealth and what wealth means for you.
I'm going to get teary here. Wealth to me is It's so much more than finances. It is living a life where you are living in connection to your purpose. You are able to show up fully as yourself and to be that compassion for others. And that doesn't mean I am perfect at it by no means, but that's what it means for me is to have a connection with Jesus, to have that peace, that knowing, and then to put it out into the world and to have great relationships with God, great relationships with other people, great relationships with whatever I'm doing. And the if I may tell just a quick story here, what really brought this home to me was that my mother had dementia, and I was her caregiver for many years. And there was always growing up some tension. She's very, very, very closed person. And so you always were trying to second guess, what she's trying to say here. Anyway, one day, the point of the story is one day we got into something. She would not express what was wrong, but she was very unhappy. And I was very frustrated, as I'm sure many of you have maybe been in situations where you're close to somebody and the conversation just is like, this, and it's not going anywhere. So I walked out of the house and I literally put my hands up to the sky and I said, what would love do? What would love do? And in that minute, that second, actually, Jess, I got a vision of my mom and the pain that she was in and what was going on that she could never express. And my frustration turned to compassion like that. And that to me is wealth. To be able to get outside of yourself and your problems and your obstacles, to connect with the truth. That to me is wealth. And as I went back into the house, the beauty of this, what I want you all to hear, because you really have the opportunity, we all do, to impact people. What happened was that my mom changed without me saying a word. When I walked back into that house, my shift had shifted her. And for the first time in her life, she shared with me why she was upset in a very calm and loving way. And that changed our relationship 85% from that moment forward. All from that powerful forward question, what would love do? And to me, that's wealth. You can't buy that. You just can't buy it. So relationships.
And I think everyone here could relate to that. When you have these relationships in your life, they bring in such a sense of peace and such a sense of fulfillment. And even in the ones that you feel like might be challenging or hardships, those are a form of wealth too, because those help you grow and expand and evolve and ascend as well. So
exactly, so that you can get that place of peace and joy.
Right.
So for all of you listening, you really what Jess is saying is so powerful. It's an expansion of your heart. It's an expansion of your ability to have joy, and that's true wealth to me.
Absolutely. Okay, so we had it's 11:11 my time.
Lies.
Yeah. And I do want to ask one more question, but before we move in, I'm just going to read the chat. Someone had said, what were the 3 things you said at the end of the meditation to send to the person? I think the first was, may you be well.
May you be well, may you be at peace, and may you be loved in your life.
And then Kate asks, what about feeling nervous? We still do feel nervous sometimes, say before an exam, a big final. A lot of players talk about feeling nervous always before something big. Do you mean we have to stop feeling fear or learn how to manage nervousness or fear?
Well, I think sometimes that's a great question. And I think sometimes fear can be good because it keeps you alert and aware. And basically it's okay to have fear, but just to move through it, not to let it paralyze you. And for me, I always ask, as again, my connection to Jesus and God, I just ask that come through me and give me the strength and the courage. And I would encourage all of you, there is a power far greater than you that is there for you. All we have to do is ask that really come with you, because it's within you anyway. It's within you anyway. That's your diamond power. Just connect with it, and it ask for strength, ask for courage, ask for everything that you would like in that moment to help you move through the nervousness.
And I think those moments too are an opportunity for us to grow our faith, to grow our trust, because without those challenges, you know, maybe we wouldn't be relying on this greater power as so much. So for example, myself coming on and public speaking is always an issue for me. However, I give thanks and gratitude for the opportunities to connect in these ways with my higher essence, because I have to put my full trust and my full faith into Creator, into God, because I know I can't do it for myself. So
that is such a good point, Jess. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. So these, you know, feeling nervous before exam or nervous before a presentation or feeling fear are actually opportunities for you to grow this trust in your faith in a bigger way from my perspective. So
yeah, absolutely. And that's what we're all here for, is to grow. If everything was easy, you know, we would just,
we wouldn't be here.
Get bored. We'd actually get bored and we wouldn't be here. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So for our last question, goes right into faith. So how do you stretch your faith? How do you trust when nothing is going your way?
Well, I think that there is an element of the key is to, again, whatever we focus on expands. So the key is to go into gratitude for the things that are going your way. And sometimes it's challenging to see that, but that could be as something like, you know, I have my health, or I have a bed to sleep on, or I have a phone. You know, I have water to drink. You know, there's so many places in the world that don't have any of those things. And it really is true. And I've been in that space myself. And what I know is that the more we focus on what's not going right, the more things continue to not go right. And every thought we have is an opportunity to move us in a direction, either spiraling us up or spiraling us down. So turn to God, turn to faith, turn to the all that is, whatever that is for you. It is a power that is greater than you. And ask. You know, sometimes most of the time we get in our own way. You know, oftentimes I'll think, oh, I should turn here, and then I'll stop and I'll ask, is this, you know, what is my best next step? And it's not what I was going to do at all. It's something completely different. So allow yourself to take some quiet time to connect with that power that is, and ask, what is my next best step? What am I supposed to learn here? Because things happen to us as a way of growth, as Jess was talking about, to expand our heart. And we will keep experiencing things until we get the lesson. And sometimes it does seem like a tsunami. And my heart goes out to you. I absolutely understand. I have been there many times myself. But what I know pulls you out is just to have the faith, to know that there is a reason and a purpose, and continue to ask, what am I to learn? What am I to do? What is my next best step to take care? And trust that higher power is there for you. It hasn't abandoned you. It hasn't abandoned you. Know that it's there for you.
Oh, thank you for that amazing session. Ray says, we see God's light in you, and I can't agree more. You exuberate love and compassion and light, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you for our last session on day 3. On behalf of Rita, Leah, and myself, we just want to say thank you. So once again, Sherry, thank you for your time, thank you for your wisdom, and thank you for your heart.
Thank you so much. This has been such an honor and a pleasure. And all of you listening, just know that you are loved. You're loved so much. So much. Tap into it. Thank you for this opportunity, Jess and Leah and Britta. It's been really such an honor to be here. Thank you. Sending lots of love to everybody.